no standing in my way. I got the skills to pay the bills, stay busy earning my pay. Do what I do, keep pushing through every day, all day. Come say it to my face if you got something to say. Just wait and see. They gon' talk about me, and things won't never be the same. I'm gonna be very legendary, and the whole world's gonna know my name. Are you ready? Are you ready? Better make way, 'cause I'm coming through. Are you ready? Are you ready? Better make way, 'cause I'm coming through. Legendary. Oh yeah, legendary. Legendary. Make way, 'cause I'm coming through. Just wait and see, wait and see. They gon' talk about me. Just wait and see, wait and see. They gon' talk about me. Just wait and see, wait and see. They gon' talk about me. I'm gonna be very legendary. Make way for me, make way for me. You know I'm gonna be legendary. Make way for me, make way for me. You know I'm gonna be legendary. Are you ready? Wait for me, make way for me. You know I'm gonna be legendary. Are you ready? Wait for me. Are you ready? Wait for me. You know I'm gonna be legendary. That must be what you are. Waiting for a star to fall and carry your heart into my arms. That's where you belong, in my arms, baby, yeah. Waiting for a star to fall and carry your heart into my arms. That's where you belong, in my arms, baby, yeah. 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 This far, waiting for a star to fall and carry your heart into my arms. That's where you belong, in my arms, baby, yeah. Waiting for a star to fall and carry your heart into my arms. That's where you belong, in my arms, baby, yeah. Waiting for a star to fall and carry your heart into my arms. That's
All right, so hello everyone, and welcome to this last masterclass for this Kubernetes challenge. Let me share my screen and let's get started in a minute. All right. Okay, so there you go. So welcome to this final class session on Kubernetes. In fact, we have covered a lot of grounds in terms of the CRD exams and the topics related to that as well. And here is the recap of what we have covered so far. We started with containerization, building images. We then talked about how to work with the pods, set up Kubernetes cluster, various aspects of running pods and what are pods, etc. We talked about how to scale your application using replication controllers, replica sets, and auto scaling as well with the horizontal pod autoscaler. Then we dive deeper into network concepts. We talked about ingress, we talked about deployments, we talked about persistent storage and a lot of concepts related to that. Then we dived into security related concepts like network policies, RBAC policies, and security context, etc. Last week we did two sessions or two missions. One, how to set up a cluster using Kubedium, and then how do you administer it in terms of creating nodes, working with the nodes, maintaining, draining, upgrading the cluster, etc., taking a backup of HCD, etc. So we've covered that. We talked about HEM at some point in time as well, and today we are going to talk about ArgoCD, a very, very interesting topic. So I hope you are all excited to learn about ArgoCD. Type in yes if you are. And we have a lot of people joining in today. And I'm making sure that everybody, almost everyone, is kind of available on Zoom today. So I see Aditi, Ali, Ashish, Bhanu, Dinesh, Harish, Joel, Joshua, Naveen, Pradeep, Sandeep, Sandun, Subramanyam, Aman. Hope all of you are doing great. And let's talk about Argo and let's talk about GitOps, right? Because Argo is a tool which falls under the category of GitOps. So why do we need this is basically there are certain limitations with the Kubernetes' default way of releasing stuff and doing the deployments. What is the limitation? Let's say we talked about deployments at some point of time. We've talked about rolling updates and that zero downtime deployment. Do you think about any limitation? You can unmute and speak. You can type it in chat. I would rather prefer you unmute and speak today. Any limitations that you see with, let's say, the deployments and the way it rolls out the application? In fact, let's do a rollout and see how that works, right? So I have one version of this application, and I have run or created a deployment to roll out this application that you see on the right-hand side. Let me set this on an auto refresh with an interval of 3 seconds. It goes back in, and you see it's being refreshed. This page is being refreshed every 3 seconds. Now I would start a rollout. I would also be monitoring that rollout. So it's connecting to the same server. And I would be watching for the, let's say, rollout status for this application, which has been created with, deployment called as vote, right? Once it comes up, starts, it will show up here. In fact, I would start watching for this right in this window where I would start rolling out from. And then there are a few more things that we would watch for. Let's open up another window altogether. And let's watch for pods deployment replica set that it creates and with labels, right? So I have a version 1 deployed that you can see. There are about 12 instances of it running. You can see that as part of a deployment here called as vote. I will search only for one specific application. So clean up. So you see 12 pods, one deployment, and this has already rolled out a few versions. So there's V1, there is some V5 and so on. So there are a couple of rollouts which have happened already. And let's roll out with the deployment and find out what is the limitation of it. Even though there are advantages like zero downtime, it doesn't cause any downtime, and so on and so forth, right? So YouTube Live is all right. I'm just checking the comment here. Uh, it seems to be live. To me, it looks live. I'm not sure what's going on. All right. Okay, I'm just gonna check on my phone maybe. Just give me a moment. I'm just trying to see if YouTube Live is or be on live on YouTube or not. I do see being live, but looks like there are some complaints. Okay, so I'm just gonna try this out and see if there is a problem, if I have to fix anything. Just give me one more minute to check if I can fix the YouTube live stream. Okay. All right, hey everyone, and welcome back. Just give me one more moment. I will just try to fix the YouTube live stream. Something wrong. All right. Okay, I'm just gonna try one more time, or else we'll continue. Anyways. All right, I think it should be working now. Uh, if anyone is on Zoom and has access to the YouTube live stream, can you confirm that it is working fine? All right. I'll also just paste the information of this meeting on the Zoom so that in case if there is there are people who are waiting, they can join in. Really sorry about this. All right. Okay, so let's continue, folks. I'm really sorry about all of this. I just wanted to make sure that people who are there on the Zoom or sorry, YouTube stream, they at least have access to it, right? So I've just shared some details with them, and I hope they might be able to join the call instead, the Zoom call instead. All right, so let's get going. So we have this version 1 rolled out successfully. And I'm going to show you by rolling out a new version and show you what is the limitation of a deployment. And then we'll get started talking about ArgoCD, what is the use case for it, how will it be different than a typical deployment with Kubernetes. So here we have the rollout deployment and deploy.yaml. I'm gonna just share, let's say, change the version to V2 and roll out. That's how we typically roll out with just deployment and the code that we have with Kubernetes. This is what we do. And if I start looking at the status, it has started the rollout. The first batch has gone through. You can see the rollout happening, right? Every 20 seconds, it's gonna roll out a new batch of 3. That's the configuration that I have. And that's what you're gonna see. So the first batch has gone through, the version 2 is being rolled out. You see the number of instances here will keep on growing. It's gone from 3 to 6. That's what you see here. And typical deployment configuration here, right? And it's rolling out in batches of 3. What you're gonna see now is, interestingly, you have version 1 and version 2 being rolled out now. And let's say as the rollout completes, right, or progresses, you're going to see more of version 2s and less of version 1s. Now, this is a advantage and a disadvantage at the same time because you have zero downtime deployment here, which is great because you don't have any downtime for your application, which is amazing. But at the same time, you have 2 different versions of the applications that you see at the same time. Now, for some, this is okay. For others, this is not really something that you really want, right? Because if you, there are certain scenarios where if you want to go from one version to another, there could be, let's say, schema updates in progress. You cannot have 2 different versions at the same time. You don't want to show them to your customers and so on. So if you don't want the rolling update, what can you use is the question that we have to start with, right? And that is where you'll have to think about some alternative release strategies. So what are the alternative release strategies that come to your mind? You can put it in the chat, or you can just unmute and speak. All right, so what are the alternative release strategies that you've heard of, you probably implemented it. What else can we use basically apart from rolling update? Recreate is the another strategy that Kubernetes has, but that's as good as having a downtime, and there'll be an extended downtime there, right? And this is where we may want to implement some alternative release strategies, and that's where Argo and Argo rollouts and all of that comes in. So, what are the alternative strategies which can be basically something like blue-green releases, canary releases, and so on, right? And this is where we start using Argo rollouts. All right. Now, Argo Rollouts is basically an extension of Kubernetes deployments. So when you talk about Argo, there are many components out there. There is ArgoCD, which is an implementation of GitOps, right? And it is more about setting up an automated continuous delivery, right? It comes from the same suite of tools, you can say, but it has its own purpose. So ArgoCD is more like a automated continuous delivery deployment tool versus Argo Rollouts is just an extension to Kubernetes deployment, and it allows you to implement blue-green, canary, do some automated analysis with that, and so on. And that's what Argo rollouts allow you to do basically, right? So we're going to talk about Argo rollouts first, and then we will go towards the Argo CD later, right? Now, Argo rollout allows you to do something like blue-green canaries and so on. So extend the features of Kubernetes deployments. Now, what is a blue-green release, you may ask? Let's talk about that very briefly, and then I'll show you the demonstration of it. So let's say for Argo rollouts, you can do a blue-green deployment. How will a blue-green deployment look like? Right now, the way we are doing rollouts is partial part of our infrastructure is on one version, part is on other, right? So let's say 40% is version 1, 60% is version 2, and then it rolls out to 80% and 20%, and then 100% V2, right? It's doing in batches. With blue-green, what happens is you have your service. This is your primary service, and you have your current version. Let's assume this is V1. With blue green, it does not roll out at the same time and has V2 at the same time V1 and all that. It doesn't do that. What it does is it creates a preview service. Typically, there are various ways of doing this. Let's say you create a preview service and you create a alternate version which is running here with V2. So you have this additional infrastructure created during the rollout we are talking about. And then this is where your users are going, and you can use this preview service for testing. So you can test here. You can run automated testing analysis as well on this service and make sure that everything is fine. And once you have made sure that everything is fine, you can basically switch this service to use these pods basically, you know. So that is possible. And then you remove the, let's say, previous service after that. And this is where it shifts basically. So your users along with your, so it's not just a service, your users are also tied to that service. So your users along with the service basically shift here, and this gets deleted at a later point of time. And this is why it is kind of a blue versus green. Sometimes it is blue, sometimes it is green, then you switch here, then you switch here, and you keep on doing that. The advantage of doing this is you have a very blip of a downtime. When you switch here, there is a very slight downtime, but it's almost unnoticeable. And you can switch between two different versions. You won't have, at the same time, you don't have two different versions and so on. This is one example. Canary takes a slightly different approach, but we'll stick to the blue-green, and I will demonstrate this with ArgoCD here, basically. Right, so how will this work? We will talk about that here with Argo rollouts. And first, I'll have to deploy the Argo rollout here. And Argo rollout is an extension of Kubernetes. So how do you extend Kubernetes is using something called as CRDs, controllers and custom resources. Custom resource definitions are CRDs, and you have some controllers there. So let me deploy. All right, so there is a comment. You can also only migrate less percentage of traffic. Yes, so uh, yeah, so Ali, you can do that with progressive canary releases typically. So percentage of traffic goes to a new version, and then that's your canary, and so on and so forth. Blue green is typically a switch between the two. So you're referring to a canary release. Yes, so that's an alternative. If this is a answer to that, yes. So I think you have some of you have already mentioned. So Ali, I think already mentioned canary. I didn't read the previous one. Yes, so canaries, blue green, there are A/B testing. There is a feature flag switch that you can do also. So many ways to release your product. We will talk about one example here with Argo Rollouts. So how do we implement Argo Rollouts, deploy Argo Rollouts is by using its own controller. So I will deploy that and demonstrate it to you. It's typically simple. So you can look at the instructions here. I already have kind of a lab for it. So I will just go ahead and run those commands. So what I'm going to do is set up Argo rollouts. Yeah, so for brevity's sake, I'll quickly set it up, and setup part is, something that you can anyways follow, right? So, what is this for? Okay. Oh, I think it's nothing. I can validate by looking at the custom resources. Yeah. So what it did was it has created a bunch of API custom resources. I can also list CRDs, custom resources. Again, Argo has extended now the Kubernetes feature. And just like deployment is a API resource, just like service is a API resource, we have rollouts, we have analysis, we have experiments. So these are for testing, and running experiments is running tests, and doing an analysis is analyzing the results of that, and based on that you can decide whether you want to switch or not. So you can actually do a lot of sophisticated automated analysis with ArgoCD with all of this as well, right? That's possible. What we will do is create a rollout object. Let me show you Kubernetes kubectl get API resources in general. That should give you an idea. So what we have now is just like an ingress controller, just like cron job as a resource, just like deployment and a daemon set, and pod as a resource, a service as a resource. Now we have rollout as a resource, which Argo has given us. So typically the way it works is it creates its own controllers. It should have created its own namespace. So this is how it works. So you have custom resources and you have controllers which work or take some action based on those resources. Resources give you an interface to talk to the Kubernetes, and the controllers do the actual job. And when you create a resource like deployment, there is already a controller manager which is looking at it. And since Kubernetes does not have this inbuilt feature, you have to implement the additional controller, which is running as a pod itself, and maybe some other components along with it. Now, how do I go about converting my deployment to rollout, right? That is the part I will do next. I will not install any plugin for now. I'll just keep it very simple and show you by converting the existing deployment to the Argo rollout. I also need a preview service, just like what I demonstrated in the illustration. Uh, we need a service, something like this we will create. So I'm just calling it as BG for blue green. And this is my preview service, vote-bg. So I will create that. Okay. And then Yeah, so there are two services we have, right? So get SVC, vote and vote PG. This is my primary service. This is my uh, blue-green service. I would be watching for both of these. So I'll have some monitoring console somewhere. So right now I'm just describing it to you. So vote primary has these endpoints. That's where my application is running, right? And the preview service should be empty right now. Nothing is pointing to that. Or right now it is pointing to the same, because it all depends on the selectors role, this one. It will change later once we have the rollout instead of a deployment. To create a rollout, I will just take an existing deployment and convert it into the rollout specification. That's quite possible. A rollout is just an extension of deployment, actually. It's not like completely revolutionary new thing. So what happens is, uh, in case of uh, kind, instead of deployment, how I transform this into a rollout is this becomes rollout. API version now, this has been provided by Argo, and that's the one I have to use. I can check for the exact API version using kubectl API resources as well. So you see deployment has apps v1, right? That is what it was earlier. Rollout has argoproj.io v1 alpha 1. That's the one you see here. Now, what else changes is strategy. So instead of this strategy, instead of this rolling update strategy, we will now have strategy provided by ArgoCD. And this is where we have, I'll explain this strategy. So instead of rolling update that you see here, we have the blue-green strategy. I believe there is something else I'll have to change, metadata name. I'll have to remove this part. Okay. Now, how do I come up with this configuration is it's all a part of the ArgoCD rollout documentation. So if you go to the rollout documentation, you will find all of these details here. Let's say you want to define the rollout and rollout strategies and spec. For example, blue-green, these are the properties. So you create a rollout. So it is all well documented actually here. And everything else is from deployment. The strategy part is you add blue-green, right? And what are the things that you have defined? So there are multiple things that you can do. I'll just show you the simplest configuration where active service, preview service, and should I automatically promote, as in should I switch over once everything is fine, should I switch over or not? So auto promotion, I have enabled it. So it will automatically switch over to the new version. After how long? After 30 seconds of the preview service being created. So preview service is this vote BG, active service is this, right? That's all we have here, right? Everything else, we can keep it as is. And then I can delete the deployment that I had, right? The deployment should be gone. Okay. And I will create the rollout. I'll be watching for one more thing. That is endpoints. Okay. And instead of deployment, I'm gonna run the rollouts, and then I want to set the scale to, instead of 12, which is a lot, I'll say 5. Okay, so what we have now, actually, this will help us understand almost everything. So, okay, so this, I've picked up just the endpoints from the service. There is a deployment, yeah. There is a replica set. What else is there? Kubectl get rollouts. Sorry, I should have run. I'm just a bit distracted because of that YouTube issue. So still watching for that. Anyways. Now this seems fine. Okay, so there is a rollout. The only thing is, instead of deployment, we have a rollout. That's the key difference here. And what else is there? So, okay, let this roll out, and then we'll figure out. You see the version running with V2 on the right. There are 12 instances, so I'll have to change the vote RO. I'll set it to 5. Image, just gonna run something like V4. Okay, let this go through, and then you can already see things in action, but let it go through, and then we'll come back to it. It will basically normalize with 5. Okay, Ali has a comment: instead of editing the YAML, could we use a command? Yeah, possibly you can do that, but I would much rather prefer using a YAML in this case, where I can provide all the configurations, and and generally that's the way you run things in Kubernetes, well, mostly with the YAML or a resource that you create. So that's what I would stick to, at least for now. So I have created the rollout, let it normalize, and then we'll then do a couple of blue-green releases. You still see everything is V2, okay? Even though there is a alternative infrastructure, that's because it's a blue-green release in action. So it will switch over automatically, and it will be just one single switch, and it will go to V4. That's what happened now, right? That's what is happening now. I'm trying to see if I can describe that for you, where it is happening. So let's see, kubectl get rollout for vote, and describe rollout for vote. Probably somewhere here. Spec, yeah. All right. Okay, we're looking at this already. Let me install this Argo utility and see if that makes any difference. I just wanted to show you something which is more kind of a verbose about what is going on. All right. We can put this here. So what are the things we will watch for? Let's analyze that. Right now there's version v4 running. Okay, we'll see what comes out here in the bottom screen when the rollout is happening. But there are certain things that you will see definitely is when the new version comes up or when we start the rollout, like I'm going to go from v4 to v5. What you will see is this is the primary service that I'm looking at. The primary service will continue to have the same IPs. So these IPs will be same when the rollout starts. Okay, observe that. Uh, these are the IPs that this service and this service both are pointing to the same set right now. When the rollout begins, the preview service will start pointing to these basically, meaning what is going to happen is initially we're going to have everything is pointing to the primary and preview. Everything is pointing to the same set of pods right now. This is also pointing to this. When the blue-green starts, what is going to happen is a new set will be created and the preview service will start pointing to this. Okay. And then it will basically make sure everything is okay. We're not running any automated analysis, but it is possible to do that as well. And once this is okay, what is going to happen then is this becomes the primary, right? And this gets deleted eventually. That is the switch which is going to happen. So you can find out by looking at this preview service initially will be pointing to the new set of pods. And eventually when the switch happens, when the new version comes up here, at the same time, you will see this set updated as well. If something comes up here, that's a bonus for us. But let's begin the rollout. We'll go from V4 to V5. V5. Done. And begin the rollout. Apply. You see a new set of pods running. Okay. The service endpoint. This is pointing to the new set now. Yeah. Status for the Argo rollout. Progressive. Okay, this is good. So this shows us that it has, it's pending for a cutover, meaning it has rolled out the backup or that preview service. Okay. You can see that on top. It has rolled out that preview service. And it is waiting for the cutover to happen. That is V5 to V5. When that happens, you are going to see the same IPs, this 0.5 and all that updated here. And it has just been updated. You're going to see that in a few seconds. The next time I refresh, it's already been rolled out and it's all healthy, right? So that's, it's easy to watch this way. What I'm going to do is we'll watch for no labels so that this gets compressed. The output is better. Okay. And now, because this is what we want to focus on, we know that, this set of pods, like previous pods, will get deleted. The previous set got deleted, right? So that's what happened. And this is now the end of the release, basically. Let's do this one more time to understand how this works. V6, V6. apply. It has rolled out the preview. Yeah, new, this is a green version or a blue version, whatever you want to call it. Look at the age. You see this is a new set of pods. This is the new set of pod. And it is progressing, right? And then it will wait once it comes up fine. And if you access the preview service, if you have access to that, you can run analysis there, maybe do some manual testing there if you want, or you can run automated analysis also. That's also fine. So in few seconds now, it's gonna cut over. So it will be pausing for that. It will then cut over to the new version, and you're gonna see V6. So it will be immediate switch to V6 without much of a downtime. Actually, that's the advantage of using blue green in instead of using, let's say, recreate will have an extended downtime. And then with this blue green release, you can also do automated analysis, run some test, analyze it. If there is a problem that you detect with your automated test, you will roll back. It will automatically roll back also. So it's waiting. Yeah, it's cut over already. So you're gonna see V6 there, right? This is the example of blue green. And it's not very difficult once you understand deployment, because it is just an extension of a deployment. And you're going to see this set of pods be gone in a few seconds, and that will be end of it. Basically, it's just an extension of your deployment, just some additional spec that you'll have to learn, and a controller that you'll have to install along with the custom resources, and that's it. So it's really simple and easy. If you understand deployment well, this is very simple to implement also. That's what is the advantage with Argo. It's quite simple if you compare it with the alternative, which is Flux, in terms of how you set up, how you work with it, in terms of picking up things, it's very, very easy. Okay. Any questions with Argo rollouts so far? Okay, so the question is, how will we access the preview service before and after? If you, let's do that. Let's access the preview service also. It's as easy as configuring it. Let's say vote BG. Whatever you have configured here, it depends on that. So let's say I have used, okay, it's already there with node port 30,200. This time we will do something more interesting. 30,200 is my preview. Okay, this is a good question, because I should have shown you this earlier. Left-hand side is the preview. Right-hand side is the primary. Let's go ahead and roll out so that you exactly see what's going on now. Should be as easy as doing an image update. I have an image which goes on till V11 or something, so I can keep on doing rollouts for this demo. The image has to be there in the registry, of course, for this to work. We already have, so it has rolled out. And at this time, preview is V7. It's already there. Yeah, you can see the Batman versus Iron Man. That's my V7, and that's my preview service. It's been rolled out. You can do testing. So right now I have set up automated analysis. You can also not do an automated progression, rather automated release. You can set this up, do the manual testing, and have someone approve it so that the release starts. So you can also do that, or so that the cutover starts, rather. You can also do that automatically, the testing, part, or you can do it also incorporate some manual stages if you want to. And it is cutover for cutover is pending, right? And it's done now. So now you're gonna see primary also pointing to V7. At this time, V7, everything is pointing to V7. V6 still exists, but that will be deleted in a few moments. Now I'll switch to labels so that you see V6 will be deleted in a few seconds. Yeah, so preview is exposed using different port depending on the configuration. In this case, I'm using node port. That's why preview service is exposed using a different port. You can use ingress controller and say, this is my preview.example.com and this is my example.com. You can do it any which way you want. There are different ways of exposing services. You can use different ports. You can use cluster IP, you can use ingress controllers, you can use, let's say, external IPs. So there are many ways of exposing this service outside. How long does it take before it starts using the new version is the question. That's all configuration. So you can see I've given an promotion period of 30 seconds. That's all configurable. This is where your configuration comes in. So you have the spec and all of these properties let you drive all of these things. So auto promotion seconds, should it be enabled or not? Um, do you have any other ways of doing this? So do you want to do any post promotion analysis? Let's say it's been promoted, now you want to run another analysis, you can do that. The preview service has already been configured. Preview replica count, instead of 10 being in the primary, if the number is 10, you can set the preview for 2, right? So you can define all of this configuration. That's for blue green. Canary has its own set of configuration. Generally, it would have steps, and let's say it would have the promotion. It will be progressive by steps, right? So you have the weightage and stuff like that, and that will keep on incrementing and all that. So different ways to run different types of services. I did not pause the cutoff. I did not pause it at all. I have just rolled out as is. I have not paused it. None of that I have paused really. Yes. So Ali's question is based on your use case. Yes, you can change the timer. This timer, plus there are many things which are configurable in Argo rollouts. All right, so that's about Argo rollouts. I want to show you quickly ArgoCD as well. ArgoCD is a very simple tool. Now, what is the difference? Argo rollout is just a controller like deployment, right? ArgoCD, on the other hand, is more of a continuous deployment process. What do you mean by that is, right now, if you look at it, the way I'm rolling out is I have to go make the change to the code. Someone has to do that and then roll out using a command and so on. Wouldn't it be nicer if you had the code in some repository like Git repository? That's also the reason why we want to write it as a code, not a command. And then change it in the Git repository, and then it automatically triggers a rollout. And that is the main purpose of using ArgoCD. And that is the whole the GitOps concept is based on top of that, right? So what is GitOps? Is nothing but it's a concept or a set of principles which were created by uh, there is a tool called as FluxCD, okay? And it comes from a very popular CNI, the people who created one of the very popular CNIs in Kubernetes world. Does anyone know about that, or can anyone name it? That's a trivia question. Okay. That should give you an answer to who created Argo. GitOps, basically, not Argo. Argo was created as part of Intuit. Intuit actually, I believe, acquired an organization who built Argo, and then it became part of Argo's Intuit, and then they, made it open source and available with CNCF project now. Who coined the word? Let's say GitOps was an organization called as Weaveworks, and they're the ones who create a CNI called as Weave, and they're the ones who created FluxCD as a technology or a tool, right? That as an implementation of GitOps. Now, what is GitOps? It's in the name. It is Git and Ops. It's operations out of Git, right? What do you mean by that? So this four principles, if you understand it, you will understand what GitOps is. The principles of GitOps, of course, that's what the name is. And of course, how ArgoCD works and how you go and implement it also, right? So what are the principles of GitOps then? The first principle is you write everything as the code. 100% configuration should be declarative, meaning everything as code. Good thing is in Kubernetes world, everything can be written as YAML, including your not only your deployment objects, but also your administrative stuff, like you want to define affinity rules, scheduling configurations, quotas, security policies, authorization policies. Uh, Everything can be configured as code. That's the good part. And once you've written the code, what do you do with it? You, of course, store the state in somewhere like Git, right? That's the de facto thing that you do here. So the second principle says store the desired state in Git. So you've written the code, now you revision control it. Number three says apply approved changes automatically. That's the way to say implement Git based workflows. Even though it says apply approved changes automatically, what they mean here is you have Git branching models. You create branches like main and release, and whatever code that you have for deployment, or maybe feature and main. So whatever code is there, it goes as part of your maybe a feature branch is what you create. You write the code there, and then it goes through the checks. It goes through code reviews, and then it gets approved. When it gets approved, as in it goes into a certain branch like main or release, and whatever goes in that branch, it is considered to be safe to apply, and that should be the trigger to apply actually. And that is how you can set up this continuous delivery as well. Let's say you have a main branch and a release branch, and you are doing trunk-based development, and everybody is merging to main. And then when you want to push it to Kubernetes, just merge it, do code reviews, do checks, merge it to the let's say the branch like release, and from there that's a queue for the tool to deploy it automatically. That's where ArgoCD comes in. And that's where the fourth principle comes in, which says check and correct with the software agent. Agent is like ArgoCD or FluxCD, right? It's one of those two typically. And check and correct is sometimes you just want to check and find the difference and report. Sometimes you just want to go ahead and deploy. So either of that, but that's where the tool comes in. That's where ArgoCD sits. That's where FluxCD also sits. Fundamentally, the difference is like Ansible versus Puppet or Chef, where Flux is like Puppet or Chef, where it is a pull model. It sits in every single cluster, and then it pulls the configuration from Git and applies it locally. ArgoCD is like a push model like Ansible. It sits in one place and it can connect to multiple clusters and manage deployment across those clusters. That's where ArgoCD sits in and fits in, right? And that's what ArgoCD is all about. And with ArgoCD, how you integrate Argo rollouts and all that is basically you take the code can be rollout, deployment, whatever, and then you push it to Kubernetes cluster. So let me show you by setting up a very simple deployment. Initially, I thought I could create a more sophisticated multi environment, but I'm going to keep it very simple, right? Deploy the ArgoCD first. I will set up a password for default password also. It's going to take a moment for this to go through. Basically, I'm setting up ArgoCD UI dashboard, exposing it, on a particular port, 32,100, and should be available to me now. For simplicity, I'm just exposing everything as node port. And there it goes. It's a nice, beautiful UI that Argo comes with. Good thing about Argo is it has a UI, very intuitive. Yeah, it comes from Intuit, of course. And it's easy to use. I can show you by configuring it very quickly. I just need a code repository now. Vote-deploy. Okay. I'll fork it. Yeah, I have multiple demo accounts and all of those are taken. All right. Okay. I will name it something else. Okay, so the code is here. And I can create, okay, I have 2 branches. So this is what the Git workflows are all about, right? You push it in main and then it goes to release and all that stuff there, right? Now, what we would do here is okay, let me understand the code first. This is a customization. So this is like hem or there's an equivalent of that. Okay, I'll keep it whatever is there. So basically, this base is going to contain a deployment code, just like how we have deployed, right? It's going to deploy. Is there a namespace? No, it doesn't have anything. Fine. So it is just going to deploy the version 1 of it with the 4 replicas. That's what it's going to do. And then I can also create, basically what this code does is basically I can create 2 different environments and say, in this environment, I want this version and these many replicas. Yeah. 2 replicas. And you can define the version if you want. And in prod, you may say, I want these many replicas and so on. And then service for it will differ. So 30,400 is the service for prod. So I'll show you 2 different versions, 2 different environments actually. And service for this is 30,300. Okay, this is good. So we're good to go. So what I'm going to do is basically the first kind of first 2 steps are there. So the code is written. It is revision control already. Workflow, Git workflow, and all of that we're going to skip right now. I'm just going to show how this gets deployed using Argo in 2 different environments. So first thing first is I will create 2 different environments. I will also delete all this rollout business from here. And my services. Okay, everything is gone, clean. You can see that on the right, the effect of it. And looks good to me. All right, so now I will create 2 different environments in using two different namespaces, staging and prod. And here I would start watching for both, and you'll see the deployments happen. Get all in staging. Get all in prod. All righty. And 30,300, 30,400. Just like earlier. Instead of preview and primary, we have two different environments. And now it's time for me to configure it everything with Argo. Yeah, this is the repository. I will copy it over and I will configure two different things. So vote staging. Configure the repository. So this is called as an application configuration. You can also do this using an application YAML file, just like deployment or any other resource, in Kubernetes typically. You will also see that API available with you. So just like rollout, there is applications, which is another resource that you can create. I'm just creating it, visually right now, but it can be anything. Head is head is fine. Path is where I will deploy using prod and staging. So the same cluster, staging namespace. Okay. Okay. Let me create. The question is from Tashin is what is customization.yaml? Customization is a tool such as Hem. It's a template management tool. I will not get into it right now, but I will share the resource with you. So it's a kind of an overlay structure where you define the base. Okay. Base is where you have, let's say, your original YAML file. And then for uh, overriding things at different environment like staging or production or any configuration profile, you have these patches. Patches are like, just same file, but different values. So replicas here will be 2, replicas here are 6. Originally, replicas is 1. It's a very simple way to manage your manifest, and it's much simpler than Hem in my experience. So customization is something you can explore. It's a very useful tool to know about actually. Right? So that's a brief idea about customization. Okay, now I have a problem with the repository. Let me try this one more time. Everything else looks fine. This is the one. This should have worked actually. Just going to confirm here. This should have worked, yes. Main, staging. All right. Just going to do this one more time, this entire configuration, just to check. Okay. I'm at ArgoCD. I'm creating an deployment configuration. This is the repository. It should actually take this. Not sure what's happening. This is also a public repository, so shouldn't be a problem. Configuring everything in case this comes up, fine. All right, let's see if it does. No, seems like a problem somewhere. Generally, this shouldn't be the case because the configuration seems to be correct. So trying it one more time and then I'll let it go. This is fine. This is fine. Let's keep it manual. That's fine too. This is my repository. Fine. And this should scan it. Yep. HTTPS should work. All right. In the meanwhile, yes. So the previous video about the last session, I will upload it to the YouTube. Yes. So you will basically, it might be there. I think it started somewhere. I'm not sure what's going on, but some configuration between my Zoom and the stream, it's not working. I'll have to test it further. But it got streamed. I do see it, but it doesn't show up on the same URL that I had shared earlier, I think. That is the problem. All righty. One last go. Staging as a path. Yep. That's what it is. Staging and prod. Those are the paths. If not this, I will just try with one more repository and then we'll give up. a similar repository actually. Looks like Argo has a problem connecting to Git. That's what it
Is it
looks like.
because of API token maybe?
Because of
API tokens.
uh,
No, no, no.
but this is a public repository. So in terms of getting it from here, this shouldn't be a problem. Now, this is something we'll figure out later. So would have been great to demonstrate it. Let's see if I have screenshots. It looks like this basically. Once it deploys, you're going to see two different environments and it gets reflected into your cluster as well. So if you look at the cluster, you're going to see those many pods. So here you'll see 2, here you're going to see 4 in that environment. And that's how it keeps on deploying. And every time you make a change to the Git repository, it rolls out on its own automatically. So yes, so connection error. Yes, so there is a problem with the connection. So there is something wrong with this Argo instance and the GitHub connectivity. So we'll leave it at that. And this is how it's gonna work basically. But the basic idea is you keep the code in Git, and the moment you change the code and roll out or apply it in a particular branch, that's where you can set up these GitHub workflows like different branching policies and so on. The moment you do that, it will automatically trigger the rollout, and that's what you will see reflected. So it's automated deployment continuous delivery system, which is driven by the Git. Then you don't have to log into the cluster, you don't have to change the code there, you don't have to roll out manually or run those commands manually. All of that gets applied in an automated way. And then if you use it in combination with Customize or Hem, you can create multi-environment deployments as well. That's where Argo Rollouts or ArgoCD comes in and does the job. I may create a demo separately for this, but this is where we will end our kind of a topic here for today, right? So I wanted to talk about Argo CD and Argo Rollouts both. Argo Rollouts is like for setting up the deployments, and Argo CD is more of a continuous delivery service, right? And then there are many things from Argo. Argo has Argo image updater, Argo workflows for setting up workflow automations, Argo events for communicating, managing based on the events. It can set up some trigger, and you can create some really interesting things with this entire suite that Argo comes with, which is a very interesting to know about, right? So that's where we will kind of end the session, and this is going to be our last session for the Kubernetes masterclass as well. And we initially had 12 missions. We have narrowed it down to 10. And we're going to refine this even further for the next iteration, which we will do in the next quarter. So we'll make it very, very specific to the CKA, CKAD preparation, and just focus on the topics which are most important from that perspective. And things like ArgoCD, I will take it up as a separate, let's say, separate webinars that we will do, right? That's the plan for the next quarter, so that anyone who wants to certify with CKA, CKAD, they should be able to do that. And that's where we are also creating this mini degree program. So if you haven't subscribed to any of our nerd membership or geek memberships, it is a good time to explore it and get started with it, because we will do the same kind of a boot camp, a little refined one for Kubernetes, as I mentioned. And if you haven't joined that yet, I'll just walk you through what is part of that, right? So what kind of missions and how we're going to conduct it and so on. I've created a new landing page for that as well. I'll share this with you here. So this is going to be more of a CKA, CKAD specific. And I'm going to create a certification blueprint, a simple course for specific to how you get started with certification, what is covered, how, what are the things you focus on. Then you start learning Docker, which we have a course for. Then you start with the 90-day Kubernetes challenge. That's going to be CKA, CKD specific. Attend the live sessions like you are doing right now. Practice with the project. We have created a library of project, and it's going to get refined more specific to CKA and CKD exam, and then you go for the exam. So everything that you need to complete the exam, it's gonna be there with these kind of missions. So some refinement will be there, and curriculum is there. What courses are these? Are actual courses which are already available on our platform, and these are detailed courses on Docker as well as Kubernetes, along with the projects library. We have created already, like 30 plus projects out there. And the certification that we offer will be called as a Kubernetes mini degree. I'm going towards that convention called as mini degree, and we're going to create more of DevOps engineer mini degrees and all of those as well. And yeah, those are some of my credentials with Linux Foundation as well. I've created courses for them, have maintained it for them. Not doing that anymore, but in past I've worked with Linux Foundation, and I've created a Docker course for them as well, and some testimonials and stuff like that. All right, so that's about it. And if you are interested in getting started with this, if you're a member already, geek or nerd, you already have access to it. Okay, don't worry about that. In case if you are not, I'm just sharing an offer code that you can use to get started, with this program. Okay, this is the one for the Indian payment gateways. And this is the one for the international Stripe gateway. Okay. So definitely do support the efforts that I'm doing also. Be a member. You will also benefit because this is like going to be the complete package for you to achieve Kubernetes mastery. And if you compare it with even the official program by Linux Foundation, this is both are comprehensive enough in terms of the courses, but you get a lot more with what we are offering. And Docker course, for example, we have a lifetime access. All the topics are included. Live sessions are our forte. Nobody else does that really. And many projects, the starter kit, DevOps starter kit will also be part of it, where you get some foundational courses and you have access to the community on Discord, right? Gives you a great value for the membership that you will choose here by using a geek membership, that is. And I've shared the code in case if you want to get started with this. Also, I would love to hear from you now about your experience in terms of this Kubernetes Masterclass series or the Kubernetes boot camp that we've been running for the last quarter. So if anyone would like to talk about it, I'm all ears. I also want to use it as kind of testimonials on this page. It's going to help me that way. So if you could turn on your camera and maybe talk about it, that would be awesome, right? So that would help me. And that would also give me the feedback about what are the things that are gone well, what are the things which we can improve. I'm actually going to start calling out some names. So I want to hear from you, Pradeep. And if you guys could turn on your cameras and speak, that would be kind of even better, right? So I would really appreciate that.
Yes, Gaurav. Let me see. I have my external camera.
Sure. Oh, good to see you, Pradeep.
Hi, Gaurav. Can you see me? Like
Yes,
it's
yes.
able to adjust it properly.
Great,
Yeah.
we can see you.
Hi, Gaurav.
Yeah, so would love to know about your experience of this Kubernetes bootcamp.
No, primarily, yeah, I can tell you like primarily I've been attending your courses and I subscribe to your channel, your geek membership, and it's basically I want to get expertise in Kubernetes. So, and also eventually I have to I actually bought like exam vouchers for CKA, CCAD, and eventually CKS. I mean, like just to close the loop, for certification. So, so far I'm liking it. Like the projects and like I mean, like it's a great curriculum we come up with, and unfortunately, I didn't have. I'm a full-time working, right? So I'm not able to follow up like on regular basis. But
Mhm.
so far so good. Like I would probably see like if you um, since it's more CKA and CCAT exam perspective, if you can throw some exam, like kind of some sample questions here and there, that would probably greatly help, like for people like me who are preparing for exams. But other than that, like so far so good. Whatever projects you gave us so far, I feel, like now just attending your classes so far, I feel like I'm ready to take exams right now,
Awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just reading the Kubernetes doc and attending your, boot camp. That's all. That gave me full confidence, So I don't have any issues. So far, so good.
Awesome. Thank you so
Yeah,
much, Pradeep.
yeah.
And it was good to see you and interact with you all throughout. So I really like your energy and the kind of efforts that you're putting into it as well. So that's really great to see as well, right? So thank you, Pradeep. Anyone else would like to give me a feedback about this program and maybe just share your experience here? You can turn on your camera. You can just speak otherwise as well if camera is not available. So we are free to do that. So if you have attended the sessions or if you liked today's session and would like to talk about it, give me the feedback. That would be great to know as well.
Hey Gaurav.
Hey, Sandeep.
Yeah, so I'm new to this class, with your class actually. So I joined today and I have little knowledge about ArgoCD. Meanwhile, I'm studying uh, studying myself, like self, okay? So it's
Mhm.
good, you have shared a lot of knowledge on like a live project mainly. So I just want to know one thing, like recently I have heard about Devin AI, which is going to take our jobs. So I'm little worried about it. I just want to know a few more things about it. Is everything is fine now till like for more 5 years, like we can sustain in these DevOps roles, like DevOps jobs? I just want to know few things about that because see, continuously preparing on it, and even I lost my job even. So I'm preparing only for DevOps. So I just want to hear more about DevOps jobs in future. So if you have any idea, please share
Sure.
with
Are
us.
you so what are you concerned about? Is it the AI or is it what?
Yeah, see, we
Okay.
have seen that Devin, right? It's going to deploy applications directly without a human intervention.
Can you spell it again?
AI, which is going to deploy applications, right? Devin AI.
Devin AI is the
Yes,
tool that you're talking about, is it?
yes. Like
Okay.
ChatGPT. So it's going to create a source code and it's going to test and it's going to deploy application in the servers.
Is this the one you're talking about?
Can you please
Devin.ai?
share it? Um,
Let me share the screen, okay?
yeah.
It's basically artificial intelligence software engineer. So basically, it does everything for you.
Yeah.
Uh, You're talking about this one?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Is there a site where we can read about it?
Mm, maybe.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, Devin, that itself, Devin AI dot something like that. So, so it's just like a chat GPT. Yeah, that's what it
Yeah.
is.
You can see the sample video which is shared by CEO of that company. Like you'll get an
Mhm.
idea.
Okay. Sure. So, in general, okay. So let's talk about AI in general, okay. So you'll see a lot of tools like this coming in, okay. So what is going to happen is it's just going to enhance, in my opinion, in the midterm, we don't really have to worry about it. Long term, we don't know where things are going, but it's not as if you are writing, let's say, an article, and if you were a copywriter, you may be worried about AI a little bit today, and you may have to find a specific niche and stuff like that. So it's not at that level where I see perpetration of AI right now. And even if these tools are going to make the life of, let's say, people who are managing the releases, managing deployments and something easier. It will make monitoring easier. It will make generating the code like Ansible and stuff we were talking about just a couple of days ago better. And that is the direction in which I see things are moving, right? Doesn't mean it's gonna not affect anyone. It will definitely affect the jobs where you're doing things, a lot of things manually, right? If you're just sitting there and pressing the buttons and doing a lot of things manually, you should definitely be worried about it. But if you are on the right side of the AI, are adopting to these tools and features and stuff like that, there are still things that you will have to deploy. There are still things that may break. There are still things you will have to set up. There are still things which you will have to integrate. There are still platforms like Devin and stuff that you'll have to incorporate into your organization. And that is where I see the job of a DevOps personnel coming in. So I do not see, at least in the midterm, a threat to the profile of a DevOps engineer, and it will just evolve in a different direction, because that way, and nobody will have a job, right? Because it does development. A lot of things you can generate the code with AI and write the code with it as well, right? And stuff like that. So there are a lot of things that AI can come in and enhance your work with, but I don't think it is replacing the people. And that is the direction in which things are happening, at least in the midterm, right? So in the next 5 years or so, I do not see it as a threat, but you'll have to definitely adopt to the way things are changing. And your job profile as a person who is responsible for building infrastructure, scaling it, making sure the reliability is there, making sure things are being monitored, making sure um, things are being made more efficient remains so. So that is the role we are in as DevOps people, and I do not see it as a threat. No matter what tool the tools may keep on coming in, and there are many of these, but it's a good um, set of technologies to help us do things better and more efficient. And whoever kind of keeps on track of this AI tools and adopts to it, I think would evolve with it only. And that's my take on it, at least.
Gaurav, this is more on the lines of Copilot. I don't know whether you used it or not. GitHub Copilot.
Right.
It's the same as kind of on the same lines. It's probably you can use it for more productivity and stuff like that. So it's not. I don't think it is going to replace humans as such.
Exactly. So that's my general take on it anyways. So I think we are on the same line there. So AI is good to make things better. And whatever is done better by machines, we should leave it to the machines. And we should use the rest of the things where human intelligence is more useful. We should focus on that. That's the direction
Yeah.
in which things will
Gaurav,
happen.
can you please play that video? It will be around 1.5 minutes or 2 minutes, so
Let's
you
play it.
can have a yeah. Thanks.
Hey, I'm Scott from Cognition AI, and today I'm really excited to introduce you to Devin, the first AI software engineer. Let me show you an example of Devin in action. I'm going to ask Devin to benchmark the performance of Llama on a couple different API providers. From now on, Devin is in the driver's seat. First, Devin makes a step-by-step plan of how to tackle the problem. After that, it builds the whole project using all the same tools that a human software engineer would use. Devin has its own command line, its own code editor, and even its own browser. In this case, Devin decides to use the browser to pull up API documentation so that it can read up and learn how to plug into each of these APIs. Here, Devin runs into an unexpected error. Devin actually decides to add a debugging print statement. reruns the code with the debugging print statement, and then uses the error in the logs to figure out how to fix the bug. Finally, Devin decides to build and deploy a website with full styling as the visualization. You can see the website here. All of this is possible today because of the advancements that we've made in both reasoning and long-term planning. It's a really hard problem, and we've only just started, but we're super excited about the progress that we've made so far. In the meantime, if you'd like to try out Devin on your own real-world tasks,
Yeah, this looks interesting. So I have used AI to build an application. It took me a lot of, I mean, it does a decent job at some level, but you still need someone to do it. So my take on it is I wouldn't have hired a person, and AI gives me a way to um, enable or give me the capability of doing that thing without, anyways, I wouldn't have done it, and I get a new capability. But if you are a developer, you can use it to maybe enhance your stuff or work. But at some point of time, I would still see a human need to define what needs to be built, how maybe fix things and so on, because a demo is not a real reflection of the real world, right? There are many tools I've tried similar to this in the recent past, and all of them come with certain promise, but it's not always the case that you get what is promised for every single situation out there, right? It's not there. It will get better for sure, but I don't think it is replacing people. It is more about empowering people to do more things. That's how I see AI in general, including this tool.
Yes, Gaurav, thank you.
Sure. So don't worry about it. And in case if it is going to replace people, it's going to replace everyone. It's not like uh, us or developers or QAs or anything like that. But I don't see that happening really, at least in the near future. To be honest, that's my take on it. So, but it's good to know these tools. It's good to use the tools like this. For example, in Kubernetes, you have this. There is a tool called as KTS KubeOps or something like that. So there is a very recent tool. So you can use it to get more information from your cluster. It uses AI and stuff. And these are all good tools to have. Monitoring, I see a lot of AI being used, and it will be very useful to do, because right now monitoring is a boring job. Monitoring stuff doing by human is a most inefficient thing to happen, and it is the one which leads to a lot of downtimes. So monitoring wise, AI should just take over, in my opinion, because it's a very mundane task, and AI is much doing better at doing those kind of things. The machines are much better, rather than humans getting beeped, every half an hour, and a lot of those are just false alarms and stuff like that. So AI should come and enhance my life, is how I look at AI really. And if you keep on learning about it, you'll definitely be on the right side of it, and you'll do better with it.
Yeah, David, thank you.
Okay, great. So anyone else has a question, would like to give me a feedback, any of that, your stage is open for you.
Hey, Gaurav.
Hey, AC.
Hey,
Go ahead.
it's Amit this side.
Hey, Amit.
So just wanted to let you know that I think it's only me or others having the same opinion, but some of the timings, right? For example, I just got to know about this session minutes back when I checked my mailbox. It was just like, maybe let's say it's a 9 p.m. India timing.
That's right. It was sent 15 minutes ago.
Right.
15 minutes before the event. Yeah.
Yep. So is it like something intentional, or because I can see the potential of many people joining in and knowing about the program, or also if there is a getaway kind of a session, right? They can, because I'm not saying like I don't like other institute who do a lot of publicity about something they would like to teach and all, and at the end they don't even have something very close to the industry, right? And to be honest, I work on a same field of DevSecOps and DevOps, and I'm basically working for automation, right? So what I feel is that your course is very much relevant to what is the current need of the hours, where you need to focus more into the project side as well as knowing the base and the concepts.
Right.
But I don't see anywhere such publicity or advertisement happening. Whereas I'm following you since very long time, even in when you used to have a channel in the Slack, right? I think you moved to Discord, that I got to know just now.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, so I think if you can just have a something promotion of this kind of session gonna happen, right? Not opening what is the actual this one, but the people who are interested, they will, because right now I can see very less people being part of the call, and I really see the potential of many people coming in and being part of the call and getting out knowing what we can get from the course, or maybe from the session learn something new, even if we are not enrolling for the courses, right?
Right.
And I think your YouTube channels and all the source of learning is pretty much good compared to others. Yeah, so I just wanted to give you that feedback that, maybe if you can do some triggering of the emails or LinkedIn posts that, okay, we're going to have a session on XYZ, maybe 2 days from now, or at least 1 day from now, because I follow you on different platform, but I don't see these things coming in.
Post coming in.
So,
All right.
yeah, that's it.
Sure. So thanks a lot for this feedback.
Right. And just wanted to, because we are speaking, so just wanted to add a few points on the previous conversation that you had on the AI kind of thing, right?
Sure.
So,
Go ahead.
yeah, giving my own personal experience, we have used a different platform of the LLM, and we are building our own LLM as well. That, but what I feel is that, topic like platform engineering, or someone to know that whether what is getting produced even makes sense or not, right? You go to ChatGPT, let's say, ask for, give me a code to do XYZ on Ansible, but how would you verify that the code produces even actual, or it will work? At times it produce modules which does not even exist, right? And then you have to prompt back to the answer to the ChatGPT saying that, hey, this module doesn't even exist in docs.ansible.io. Then
Right.
it prompt you back saying that, oh, my mistake, this is a custom module and here is a code for it. So you need to know the base of the thing. AI is there to help you, like a co-pilot. I've been using GitOps, these Copilot, and it's super good if you're doing for PowerShell kind of thing, right?
Right.
But mostly I personally see them to be your guidance, and then your Copilot kind of thing, helping you deliver things fast, develop things fast. But yeah, Devin is little extraordinary, but as you said, what you see in real versus real can be little deviating. They may be in a words that what they are showing can be true, but I still feel that whatever you developed needs to be, authenticated and validated, because it can develop the code for you, but what about the branding, the text and the font, and the internal business logic that you want to have it, right? So those are the things, and yeah, need not worry about AI coming into the world. It's more about take it as a friendly friend who can help you, maybe if you know the base and want to excel.
Exactly. So that's I completely agree with you on both the points. So one is the feedback, second is the AI, and that is what, in my experience as well, it's been the same case. So it is good tool. It empowers you, definitely helps you, dig deeper, and it's kind of a great assistant and a friend, as you said, friendly friend. But we don't have to really be worried about it as long as you be on the right side, keep adopting with the things, the way things are moving, we should be sorted. And thanks a lot for appreciating all the sessions that we're doing. Yes, so I'm trying to, I'm going to start putting more efforts, because this whole promotion takes it takes a lot of efforts. And right now I'm coming out of a different phase, and I'm now focusing on the entire content building and creating an activity. And this year I do have plans for starting to promote, and it takes a lot of effort. So you'll have to use multiple channels, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and stuff, and then start generating the content to get people in. And even if, let's say, it's always like that, right? So there are people who are very good at branding and marketing. There are people who are good at content, and they're not always exposed to the world. So how do we bridge that gap is what I am also working on, honestly. I'm learning, I'm working on it, and I've started working on a definite plan that to get there, basically. That's what I would say. But really great to get this feedback that people, it is useful, because sometimes I also think that, oh, whatever I'm doing, whether it makes sense or not, and should I continue to do this in a certain way or change the direction and stuff like that. But at least getting this feedback is very useful, where kind of gives me that confidence that I should be doing more of it, and maybe start continuing promoting that stuff as well, right? Because this is all I know. DevOps is all I know, and that's what I enjoy doing as well. And I would love to continue doing that even 10 years down the line. That's how I would like it. But I understand the need for the branding, marketing, and I'm trying to get there, and I will get better at it for sure. So I'm trying to get more help and do that as well.
Gaurav, this Pradeep, I
Yes.
completely agree with, I don't remember, I don't know his name.
Amit.
So, I mean, right, I was about to say that as well, like, because at least I'm US based, so at least in my friend circle, so they asked like, hey, what is the best DevOps? I told them, like, I refer to you, like, they don't even know you, because you don't see as much as other people advertise in YouTube, with LinkedIn and stuff like that. Definitely, I hope you will work on it. I'm like, I refer to like a lot of my friends, like at least 6 or 7 folks who are actually like very 15, 20 years experience in IT, but they want to get exposed to this DevOps latest stuff like that. Hopefully they will sign up for you. Like,
So you have to build the influence first to
Yeah.
get there,
Yeah.
so that people know you, and then they start kind of. It's a whole process that you'll have to follow. Even though, and then I focused a lot on my personal stuff for the last 3-4 years, since I had kids who were younger, and I wanted to spend time with them.
Yeah.
And I'm done, I'm starting to focus more on the business side. And yes, so I need to work on building that influence. I agree.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm telling you, like, you're going to get a lot of audience if you start doing that, And definitely, at least I definitely refer whoever comes to me, refer to your channel.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you so much. I think when they come there needs to be more content, and
Yeah.
at a regular basis. So that's what I'm going to start focusing on that. So thanks a lot for both of you, Pradeep and Amit, for, this kind of a feedback. Thank you. Awesome. So anyone else who would like to give me more feedback, inputs, I'm all ears. Love to hear from you. Sure, Amit. So I'll be dropping things out on LinkedIn. I am doing that now, but I'll probably do it in more advanced cycle, right? So that should help you better. Cool. So if nothing else, we will close the session. So thank you very much for attending the Kubernetes session so far. Thank you for participating in the Kubernetes bootcamp. Do spread the word. And if anyone else is interested from your friends, do reference them as well. And yes, I will start building my influence as well, so that, we're reaching out to more people too. So thank you. And with that, we'll close the session. All the best with your DevOps and Kubernetes journey from here to everyone. Bye-bye.
Yeah, but